In a time when gods walked among mortals and the fate of empires was written in the stars, one child was born to shake Olympus itself. This is the story of Hercules, son of Zeus, slayer of monsters and symbol of immortal strength. But before the legend, there was chaos, betrayal, and the wrath of a goddess. Let us return to where it all began. High atop Mount Olympus, Zeus, king of the gods, ruled with thunder in his hand and desire in his heart. Though married to Hera, the goddess of marriage, Zeus was infamous for his many affairs. One such affair would change the course of myth forever. Zeus descended from Olympus and seduced a mortal woman, Alcmene, a noble and virtuous queen of Thebes. Disguised as her husband, Zeus spent a night with her, and from that union was conceived a child who would carry the blood of gods, Heracles, later known to the world as Hercules. But not all were pleased with this divine birth. Hera, Zeus's wife and queen of the gods, burned with rage. Her fury was not just jealousy, it was divine vengeance. She swore that this child would never live to become a symbol of Zeus's unfaithfulness. Even before Hercules was born, Hera acted. She convinced the goddess of childbirth to delay Alcmene's labor and bring forth another child prematurely, Eurystheus, a distant cousin of Hercules. By divine decree, the firstborn would inherit the throne. Thus Eurystheus became king, and Hercules was destined to serve him, a cruel twist of fate crafted by Hera herself. Still, Hercules was born, and his birth was like none other. Though mortal, he carried a divine spark, immense strength, boundless will, and a fate tied to gods and monsters alike. But Hera's hatred did not wane. One night, she sent two great serpents to slither into the infant's crib, silent and deadly. But the child was no ordinary babe. Without fear, the infant Hercules reached out and seized the snakes, one in each hand, and crushed them with ease. The household awoke to the cries of his mother. But when they arrived, they found the baby laughing, with the lifeless serpents at his feet. The gods took notice. Even Hera, in her fury, could not ignore the omen. This boy was born for greatness. As Hercules grew, so did his power. His strength was unmatched. He was trained in music, archery, combat, and philosophy. His teachers included the centaur Chiron, the wise Castor, and the musician Linus. But his strength often frightened those around him. One day, in a moment of rage, he struck Linus with a lyre and killed him. It was the first sign of the storm within him, a storm Hera had yet to fully unleash. When Hercules came of age, he married a woman named Megara and had children of his own. For a brief moment, he knew peace. But Hera had not forgotten him. She descended again, this time casting a madness upon him, an unholy fog that clouded his mind. In his confusion and rage, Hercules committed an unthinkable act. He killed his wife and children with his own hands. When he awoke, the horror was unbearable. The hero wept, a demigod brought to his knees by the cruelty of fate. Racked with guilt, he sought purification. He traveled to the oracle of Delphi, and there the gods gave him a path to redemption. He would serve King Eurystheus, the very man Hera had placed on the throne, and perform 12 impossible labors. Only by surviving these trials could he atone for his sins and earn immortality. And so began the greatest journey in all of myth, the 12 labors of Hercules. He would face beasts no man had ever dared to hunt, the Nemean lion with its impenetrable hide, the 9-headed hydra that grew stronger with every wound, the Erymanthian boar, the Ceryneian hind, and more. He would clean the filth of the Aegean stables in a single day, capture the man-eating mares of Diomedes, steal the belt of the warrior queen Hippolyta, and fetch the golden apples of the Hesperides. Each task was more brutal than the last. Each step pushed Hercules beyond the limits of strength, mind, and soul. But the child who crushed serpents had become a man who challenged fate. Though born in sin and shadowed by madness, Hercules emerged as a symbol of perseverance. He was not perfect, he was deeply human, but it was his suffering, his struggle, and his ability to rise from the ashes that made him immortal. And in time, the gods forgave him. Hercules was welcomed to Olympus, where he was granted full divinity. He married Hebe, goddess of youth, and sat among the stars, his name